Hey guys, something that we are excited to tell you about is a company that is taking wine to the next level. If you've been at a restaurant or grocery store trying to pick out a bottle of wine but had no idea where to start, like me, or you're just looking for a unique event for your friends, family, or coworkers, In Good Taste is a new type of winery that can help you do both. Their mini wine bottle tasting flights help people with varying degrees of wine knowledge learn more about wine. In Good Taste provides tasting flights and complimentary virtual tasting over Zoom. The tastings create a safe space for novices and pros to ask questions about the wine, the regions, food pairings, etc. Unlike the traditional lecturing at most wineries, In Good Taste provides a fun event with trivia and quirky food pairings like which wine pairs best with Crunchwrap Supremes. Each mini bottle is 1 glass of wine, so you're getting 2 full bottles of wine, but in a variety for just $65. This lets you learn more while committing to less.
I called the homies, and then I did the really humble pie moment. I took out my phone. I called my dad.
Man.
Daddy, daddy.
Of course, it's daddy at this point.
Daddy. My car got towed. I got nothing. I just, is there any way I can borrow some cash or something? He said, gotta go, son, make it happen.
Damn.
That was it.
That's it.
That was it. That was it. Like, not even like, oh, cool, busy right now. Yeah, gotta go. Okay, make it happen. Still something I said today.
We've got a special treat today. If any of you are regulars on YouTube, are interested in growing your brand, interested in reaching more people, you know who this guy is. Yeah. We're really excited to have Billie Jean is Marketing on the show with us today. And for those of you that know him, get ready because we're going to get to know him on a different level. We're going to get to know his journey, his story, all those things before. Yep. If you don't know who he is, get a pen and paper out, get ready to take some notes because later in this episode, he's going to drop some dimes for everybody. Yep. But hey, Billie Jean, man, thanks for joining us in beautiful San Diego.
Beautiful. It's not beautiful right now because it's raining right now.
Oh, it is. What? Oh, you wait a minute, Billie Jean. You were talking all that big shit before we got on. Now, all of a sudden, it is raining outside, huh?
I shouldn't have even told you. I should have just pretended.
It's perfect. It's the usual 75 degrees. All right. So the 2 days that it rains there.
Let me just say that first. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Of course. All right, man. So let's back up, man. Let's talk about your journey. What got you to being this forward thinker in marketing, this leader in building brands for individuals and businesses. And so we're excited to dig back into your childhood, where you grew up, what the family life was like, some challenges that you had, but take us all the way back to the beginning.
I would say, to answer that question in short, what led me to marketing was necessity. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't grow up being like, oh, I want to be a marketer, because that shit wasn't cool. I wanted to be a safety, or
right.
You know what I mean, a receiver. I was a D end in high school. Like, I wanted to be other cool shit, musician, athlete, and that's part of what drives me now. Is I came into marketing to also make it cool and something aspirational. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I remember when it first hit me that this could be a path was Budweiser had those commercials with the frogs, Budweiser. Right. And I said, who the fuck makes those? Like, who does that? Whose job is that to just think about frogs doing it? Yeah. And that's what kind of sparked it. And then I realized it can be extremely lucrative too. And this is the core of building businesses, et cetera. And then I also realized as I started my first mobile oil change company that the hardest part about the whole thing that nobody talked about was the University of San Diego. And it was like this skipped over conversation, which was, how the fuck do you get customers? Mm-hmm. And it seems so one-on-one, right? Like, it's basic. But if you read it from a college textbook, they'll just hit you with the 4 Ps, like, well, price, product, promotion. None of that matters if no one knows you exist. Mm-hmm. So I would start these different side hustles and things. And that was just like the skipped gap. Like, the customer part. I'm like, how is this not the talked about thing? And then you ask people and no one really know. And then they would tell you this, well, it's just referrals. And I'm like, no, if you look at the balance sheet of any public company, you see that they spend billions of dollars in advertising. Right. The real ones are not just depending on referrals. That's not a thing. And so anyways, that's kind of how I came into marketing, is out of necessity, because I need to find customers. And then I fell in love with the process. And my experiences all kind of added up together. And that's, but the beginning, you know, just born and raised in Southeast San Diego, and then East County in San Diego. And, you know, yeah, we could, how far back we want to go?
No, we want to go back. Let's go back, man. So growing up, mother and father in the household, brothers, sisters, we want to start from there.
Yeah, great. Okay, so I'll start with my parents quickly. So Southeast San Diego, they both grew up on welfare. And, you know, my mom was one of 13. So we definitely had one of those families where we're always at grandma's house, you know, cousins and all that. And we were hanging out there. And the good thing about that is, as a family, we were tight. The bad thing about that is we're always at grandma's house. Right. Because and grandma's house was, you know, all the uncles and aunts were stepping by, and our family was a coin toss. You know, you had some people who were doing well and handling their shit. And then we saw a lot of, you know, had an uncle murdered, grandfather murdered, uncle, you know, drugs, people in and out of prison. And as a kid, you don't realize these things because it's just normal life. And, you know, there was so much to be happy about. But as an adult, you're like, yo, that probably actually affected me and resonated with me along this way, that like that shit probably impact you. So anyways, like the most successful person that I knew growing up ended up being my dad, and he sold cars, and he was the most successful person in our family. He was really good at it. He taught me sales today. Shout out to him. But that was it. So I got lucky in the sense of I easily could have had a mother or father that was struggling with drugs, et cetera. I happened to be, my mom got a great job when she was 18 working for the state. So when we were little, we kind of had that environment, but then I got to get moved out and I got to go to the private Catholic high school, the private Catholic middle school, kindergarten to 8th grade. And I was exposed to, and I got to experience other aspects of life. And I tell people this all the time. The biggest privilege that anybody can have is knowing that it's even possible.
Right.
My luck that I got was knowing that success was possible because I got lucky to go to these other schools. I got to see, and then I ended up going to University of San Diego with, you know, some really wealthy kids.
Right.
And that changed my whole perspective. I said, what? Your house looked like this?
Yeah.
You have cars like this? Like when I saw that, and I said, well, what's the difference between these people and, you know, my family and how we grew up? Education, experiences, being exposed to certain things. And so I was like, well, I'm trying to get exposed to some of this other stuff on this other side as much as possible. But it also gave me a really unique stance with, you know, it made me more empathetic. I have 2 tattoos, you guys can see them. One says vision and one says perspective. But I got them around that time right after college because I was so fascinated with how one group of people can live like this and one group of people live like this, and they're 20 minutes away.
Right. Right.
It's 20 minutes away. Like, so that was so fascinating to me. And my thing is being friends with both sides, knowing that, hey, these kids aren't all entitled just because they grew up wealthy. They're not bad people. And these people aren't all lazy, by the way, just because of this. And you hear these 2 sides talk about that all the time. And I'm like, neither is true. You have shit on both sides, you know? So it's given me a really kind of balanced perspective in that sense.
You know, what's fascinating about what you said was that within your family dynamics, there was some kind of hope. Hope was there. It was prevalent. So you saw that there was more to life than just the circumstances that you were in or your family were in. There was hope, right? And that's some of the perspective that a lot of people don't have that grew up in the inner city like myself. I didn't know what hope was until I got into, you know, later on in my life in high school that was I introduced to, hey, man, if I do this, this, and this, there's a possibility. And that speaks loudly to your parents. And that's where I want to go down this line. I want to go down this line. You said your father was, you know, sold cars. How much did he introduce you to the business side of things?
Well, not the business, but he introduced me to money. So my freshman year, actually funny story that's worth sharing, and that will tie into that is, so freshman year at college, USD. It was a blast. We had fun. I made friends with the kids in my dorm area, all that shit. My parents let me live on campus, even though I was in San Diego still. That was a big deal. Shout out to them. And I mean, now that I look back, they just want to keep me safe and out of trouble. And if I'm on campus, I can't be doing shit. So it's so twisted because sophomore year, everybody moved to the beach. Now, Mission Beach in San Diego is a place where like a lot of the college kids live now. When my parents grew up, the beach wasn't like that. It was bad. So their whole thing is, you ain't living at the fucking beach. Like, I was like, and I'm here saying, it's cheaper. And then I'm like, all the white kids are doing it. Like, all the white kids are doing it. Like, it's safe, I promise. Like, let me go to the thing, you know? And USD is 97% white school.
Right.
And so I'm like, okay, how do I do this? And my dad goes, well, son, if you can pay for it by yourself, then you can live there. Kind of sarcastically, though. And the kicker was, the house that I found, and I found the damn house for us, the house that I found, they needed the deposit to reserve it in fucking 5 days. And I'm like, how much money? I had to put $1,800 down. That was my part of the share. 18, what? Like, how am I going to come with $1,800? You might as well said $18 million. Like, there was no way. And then long story short, I was like, fuck it. I'm going to figure out a way to make this money. More so to say, fuck you, Dad. Like, you know,
I did it.
First of all, hold on. If my dad listens to this, I'm sorry, I didn't say that.
No, I didn't mean it like that.
I was determined to prove him. So there was 3 areas where freshmen would live. One was called Camino, one was called Founders, and one was called the Missions Valley. And they all had T-shirts. But our area, for some reason, I guess we just lived in the shittiest part, we didn't have a T-shirt. So I made one, like I drew it out. And then my girlfriend at the time, she was a good artist, so she made it. And I had like $6 to my name, like a real $6. So I asked my roommate, I said, let me borrow 20. And you know, that's not easy. Like,
right.
All right, give me 20. I go to T-shirt Mart. I get a T-shirt made, just one, because I can't do a bulk order or nothing. And I put it on, I put my jeans on, and I fucking knocked on every door. And I said, hey, everybody else has T-shirts. This is the one I'd like to make for us. What do you think? Like, oh, I love it. $20. Let's go. $20. I took the size, the order, etc. I knocked on every motherfucking door that lived there. I made $3,000 in 2 days.
No,
come on, man.
I put that deposit in, and I called my dad. I said, I'm moving to the beach. And we kind of laughed, like, well, what money? I said, this money. I put it there, and then it became, I think at first he was kind of like upset and they were mad, but then it became, okay, well, how are you going to pay for the money for the rest of the year? And I was like, that's a different issue. Right. And he got me a job at a car dealership.
Yeah.
During college and the summers, I sold cars at Toyota of Oklahoma. Wow. That's how I learned the car business. So that's the game my dad put me on right there.
And one thing I'll say is my father-in-law was in the car industry for 30 plus years. And one thing you learn in the car industry that I think what I'm hearing is you learn about people. How to reach people, because everybody that walks in that door is different. Everybody receives like a sales technique differently, right? So you've got to understand how they operate, how they receive information, and how to actually sell to them, right? First of all, you got as a car salesman, you got to understand, okay, look, they're here, so they're interested, right? So you don't have to go oversell. You don't have to put this salesman hat on, but you also have to know how to connect with those people and how to relate with those people. And then, I mean, that's where the referrals, but I think, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the things your dad, I'm sure, taught you is how to reach people and how to connect with people.
100%. He still is excellent at it and one of the best. I mean, he taught me, put it this way. First of all, it was intimidating as shit because now I'm there and I have summer and I need to make the money to live for the rest of the year in this 3-month window. And I'm like, okay, let me see how this goes. And then I get there and everybody I'm working with is a grown ass man, or a woman. And I'm this 18-year-old kid and I'm just like a fish out of water. And I don't know what the shit I'm doing. So anyways, long story short, my dad goes, listen, just be great to people. And he says, the feel of the wheel makes the deal. So make sure you get them on the demo. But when you come back from the demo, just tell them these words. Hey, I don't want you to buy anything today. You guys probably just came to look. However, would you like me to run the numbers so you guys can take it home and think about it? So all I did was brought people in the lot, made them smile, laugh, and said, hey, you guys want to test drive it? We come back from the test drive, said, you guys want to see the numbers so you can take it home and think about it? They say yes. We do the credit app, the numbers, they see it, and I'm like, well, shit, we're here. We might as well buy it. And then I was the number one salesman in my second month of the dealership.
Okay, so I got to go back on that. Do you remember your first sale?
I don't know if I remember like my first sale, but I remember that first month and the 21 cars that came with it and the feeling. And when I saw this $6,000 check, and I'm like this, and then the guy's fucked up because, you know, I'm working with all the older guys, right? And so this fucking guy, Nathan, he's like smoking a cigarette. He went to like UCSD and he was kind of like disgruntled and bitter at life and shit. And he goes, you know, hey kid, he's like, want me to tell you how to double your money? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, you know, when you get your taxes, you can do something called filing exempt and you don't have to pay taxes till way later. And I said, what? Like, he's like, yeah, you don't have to get your taxes out right now. You can pay your taxes later.
Yeah, just hit 9. just write down 9.
I was like, oh shit. Oh, I'm rich now. So I'm like getting this money. And like, luckily he didn't tell me that until the last month. But nonetheless, I took that money and I remember seeing the check. And I was so proud because I called up Anna Patzman. I'll never forget her name, the lady who owned the house we were renting. And she said, Billy, you have no credit score. You're 18. I can't just have you sign on this unless you pay me up front. And I said, give me the summertime and I'll do it. And I walked in with that check for my rent for the entire year with my money that I said.
Dang.
And I was so proud. I was so happy. And I did that every year through college. That's how I paid for my stuff. But the biggest lesson that I took away from that transaction is my buddy asked me if I wanted to work at the cafeteria during the year. And I said, cool, I'm down. Like, let's get it. And I said, how much do you get paid? He's like, you know, $7 an hour or whatever it was. And I said, bitch, you know how much money I just made at the dealership? You think you gonna get me out here looking for $8 an hour, da-da-da? It changed my brain forever because I saw how much money was possible to make in a lot amount of time, and it broke me. I was like, I can never
go back.
I can't go back.
Right.
I can't go back. I just get it now. And it changed me. And I've continued to do that throughout my career, is have those moments where once you make it, you know, it's hard to reverse your standards, so to speak. And sometimes you have to, right? When you're transitioning, things like that. But it changed me for the best.
Well, and that's a good point, right? The transition. That's why I see a lot of football players really struggle because they're like, man, I'm not gonna take that job. Right. Like I was making $50,000 a week. Like taking home $50,000 a week, and now you're telling me that like I got to go work for $20 an hour or a salary of $75,000 just to get the education and knowledge and skills to be successful. And so a lot of guys struggle with that. And I mean,
can I ask you about that?
Yeah. How
How does that go? I think about that frequently. Like, you know what I mean? And like having some friends who play and stuff. I'm like, that transition. What is the psychology? What happens? I'm fascinated by that.
You know, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact of, look, at a young age, at 18 years old, you got put in an uncomfortable situation in which it was on you to make that money. Am I right? It was like you had to sell your ass off to whoever walked in that dealership, right? Regardless. If they said no, hell, hey, next. Who else is who's coming up next, right? I think a lot of us in the NFL that have gotten out of the NFL, or not only the NFL, but just out of pro sports, is we haven't heard that word. And that's debilitating when you hear that word, because all we've done is from a young age has been coddled through high school. You're the best guy on the high school team. You're the captain. You're this. You get to college. You've been coddled. You've never heard that word no. Only thing you've heard no is probably by some chick that in college, like, no, hell no. You know, and then
who told you no?
I got a whole bunch of but I think that leads to the point of, I was 36 years old when I retired from the NFL. I didn't know what. I mean, if you put me on a car lot, I'd have been freaking lost.
Right.
Because my ego couldn't handle that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, my ego couldn't handle that. I couldn't handle the no. So you learned at a young age that no does not mean no. That means next up. And I think a lot of us are stuck in this ego trip of, you know, we've been the guys so long, and I can't start back there. I can't do that. People may tell me no.
Yeah, the other challenge is you said, okay, from 18 on, like high school, you're kind of, okay, I still do school, I still do this, like there's still life, right? You don't know what's going to happen. But once you get in college football, your sole focus, you are now a business. You are a part of a business and you have to produce. So, hey, you put the blinders on and all you care about is ball. I got to do what I got to do in the classroom so that I can be out on the field and I can produce so I can keep my job here, right? So it's tunnel vision for so long. Now, along the way, what guys don't realize is they are acquiring tools, they are acquiring skills, they are acquiring work ethic, but it just doesn't translate directly into the private sector, right? Into the business world, because, okay, you don't realize that, hey, well, waking up at 6 a.m., well, I just have to do that because that's my workout time. No, dude, that's a discipline that a lot of people don't have, you know? And then pushing through, hey, you're down by 14 points with 2.5 minutes left, and you've got to come up with, some resilience and fight back and push back and battle through the challenges. That doesn't necessarily look like, hey, man, dude, I got an RFP due in 6 hours. We got to grind. We got to get this done. I got to battle. I got to overcome adversity and everything that's against me and go win this business. I mean, guys don't understand that. And then all you do is that. So the challenge with guys is you don't realize the tools that you're acquiring, but also at the same time, it's delayed adolescence, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, interesting.
Because you don't have to grow up because you have yes men around you. You don't have a focus necessarily on a skill. Like guys like me and Darren who are like breathe, like bled football, everything. And it's like, you don't have time to look and be an entrepreneur and invest in a business. No. Save your money. There's plenty of time after ball. And you think that it's going to go forever. You think that like ball, I'm going to play ball till I'm 45. When at 21, 22, that's a long time away. Right. And it comes really fast. And guys go through this. Okay, when it's done, there's this like delay of, I'm not going to accept that. Like it's not done. My body still feels like I can play most of the time, not all the time.
Are there people telling you like save money? Like, do they really show you how far it is? Okay, hey, if you make, $10 million over the course of this year, here's how long it will last. Is there that stuff? Because people always wonder, like, how could it happen? I get how it can happen easily. But like a lot of people don't understand how could that happen? Like, what's the I guess the support that's given or the education that's given around.
So think about this. Is yes, the NFLPA comes in and they train rookies. So there's that. Now, case by case, it's, hey, do you have a good financial advisor? Do you have a good agent? Do you have a good network around you, right? And some guys have access to that just by the way that they were raised and brought up, and other guys don't at all. If you were born in inner city Phoenix, you don't have any prior relationships per se that can say, hey, okay, look, here's how you invest your money. Here's how you save. Here's how you plan, right?
And to answer the broad question is, does the NFL really give a fuck? They don't give a fuck because you know why? Each team, you are a commodity. And on Sunday, that's where they judge you on Sunday. Monday through Saturday, you show up, you stay in the building, you do all the things that are structured that we ask you to do so you can play on Sunday. But in the end, they may throw some programs at you. You have the option to go do this.
They're
and do
checking
that.
The box.
But that's just checking the box, dude. These, look, the NFL players are all
think about this. The NFL, and we got to get back to your story. This isn't about. But
but I love this stuff. Like I'm here, like I'm trying to learn too.
Think about this, right? When did the NFL acknowledge that there was a concussion issue?
When the movie came out, or whatever.
When it costed them money, when there was a class action lawsuit from former players against the NFL, they knew that there was head injuries. They knew there was things that they were doing that we're not going to change the way the game is played because it's selling tickets, it's getting TV deals, it's doing all these things. But when it costs them money, that's when they care, right? And that's when we're going to save the game because now there's a public outcry, like, oh my gosh, that like Junior Seau and all of these notable, like recognizable figures in the athletic field, like, okay, there's a real issue here that's not being addressed. And then they care when it costs them, $1 billion over the next 20 years. Right. So it's that. And it's the same with the education aspect. And the other challenge that I was going to say was rookies. You're a 20 to 22-year-old rookie in the NFL. Right. And if you're a first or second round pick, you're cool, whatever. But you are so overwhelmed with trying to be prepared for that next Sunday, playing against a bunch of grown ass men, being, razzed by coaches, being yelled at all the time, the pressure to go out and perform, pressure to keep your job if you're like a 3rd through 7th round or a free agent.
That's fascinating. What you just said is when you're 21, you're playing against a 30-year-old man. I mean, that is such a gap in everything. You forget about that. Like, that's gotta be scary as shit.
It is. But those kids in those hour-long weekly sessions on managing your finance and being responsible in the public and all those things, you know what you're doing? I'm either sleeping or I'm reading my notes from the that day or studying my playbook. I could care less.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, right. That's right. So anyway, that's a long-winded answer to your question.
So we went down a rabbit hole. You should have never taken us down that road.
Another rabbit hole too. So.
All right. So you're at University of San Diego. You just paid for your first year. You now have this entrepreneurial mindset of, hey, look, I can go create something and not have to work a $7 an hour job. What was the rest of your college career like from an entrepreneur standpoint, business? You mentioned you'd opened a business early on. So what were those next steps?
No man or woman is greater than their environment, meaning not just where you are, but what you listen to, who you surround yourself with, et cetera. And when I think about that, even when you hear a story of someone rising above their environment, it's because they shifted their environment. They got a mentor, or someone pulled them up, or something shifted. And so I started to become a victim to my environment too, which was steady career job. At USD, there's a lot of people who really just wanted to go into finance, advanced corporate finance, and be a CPA at Ernst & Young or something along the lines of that. So I started thinking like, whoa, maybe that's what I want to do. Or maybe go into finance at the car lot. Like, that's what I know. And then I just came to it and I was like, nah, fuck that. I would just go on YouTube and see videos of people. Like, I just got exposed to shit and I still had this hunger, And so I was like, okay, you know what? After college, I'm gonna pursue this marketing thing and see if I can figure some shit out. So my uncle had a car wash, a mobile car wash here in Rancho Santa Fe. And he would go to all these fancy ass neighborhoods and he'd wash their cars, right? Him and his team. And so I asked my uncle, I'm like, hey, my uncle, again, both parents grew up on welfare. So he was running his business, probably still is today, damn it. Shout out to Uncle Mark. But like, exactly like someone who was just a great salesman, well likable, and had a skill set, runs a business, how most people do. So I came in like, well, I just went to the University of San Diego. Let me put some structure and apply this shit. So I asked him if I could do like some marketing for him and kind of be like a GM to help him scale his organization. And after doing that, I realized something, that not only did these people need their car wash, they didn't want to go anywhere to do anything. So they probably need an oil change too. So I said to my uncle, hey, can we add this as an after service? What would it take? And he was kind of like excited about it, but not really. And then I just hit up my roommate from college, one of my best friends, like, yo, let's go start this oil change company. We go to people, nobody wants to go there. It's amazing. We're going to make $1 billion. I did all these calculations and projections, but it's crazy. Like, I laugh at that now because I was so arrogant. I was so confident. And it was blind arrogance because I had never experienced a victory in that lane. I've never done anything like it. So where did this arrogant little kid get all this nonsense? So anyways, borrowed $10,000 from my uncle, borrowed $10,000 from Ryan's mom. And then I called up my cousin because he was the only one who knew how to change oil. And I was like, cuz, I know you love cars and shit. I don't know nothing about it, but I can sell my ass off. You want to link up, do mobile just. And then Ryan, I was like, you like numbers and stuff. I don't want to deal with none of that shit. And so we formed SWG Mobile Oil Change. And we bought the fucking van. We had polos. We were flying. Like, we were like, whoa, this is going down. And I told my uncle we're just going to do our own thing. And I mean, we lost money every month.
Wow.
we lost money every month because it's like we did so much of the marketing plan, the projections and all these things. Guess how much time we spent trying to figure out how to get customers?
None.
Yep. None. And mind you, we're not dumb kids. We were at USD, we're around right people. Like, we weren't stupid. It felt like it would be easy. Even if you ask people now, you're like, oh, you're going to start a business? Awesome. How are you going to do it? They're like, social media. What does that mean? What does that mean? That means nothing. And we were definitely a victim of that. So these people came up to us and they're like, we saw your business. We love the concept. We think it'll do great for our company. Do you guys want to run a promotion on Groupon? Now, at the time, Groupon wasn't, it was just starting to pop. It wasn't like in this big thing. And so they said, here's the deal. We're going to sell your oil changes for like $20 or whatever the price was, like $30, something really cheap, but we're going to take half of it. And I said, oh my, excuse me? You're going to take half my money, because I didn't understand investing money to get the customer and building the back end of the business. So it felt offensive. But out of desperation, we said yes, because finally, and we said months later, I said, look, if we can just get individuals to buy an oil change, all individuals work somewhere. So if we can figure out how to get into their office and then just go to the office on a weekly basis, we're going to be fucking golden. So that became the model, which is, all right, we'll do Groupon. Then all of a sudden we had a shitload of customers and we're driving all the way around San Diego, changing oil and learning on the go, honestly, like going under cars. And my cousin was really the thing. But like, I'm sitting here in coveralls going under shit. Like, and I don't know. I'm pretty sure we spilled oil all over fucking San Diego. Y'all driving around San Diego, you see oil somewhere. That was me. Unfortunately, sorry, environment people. We know. So, I mean, we tried it. We got better at it. And the model actually worked, where we got a couple people to get us into a company. There's this company called Nuvasive. We went there every Tuesday. They sent out an email to the employees. People would come out and we're like, this is kind of cool. This is it. And we'd sit in the van and we'd eat our fucking packed meals. And I mean, we were doing it, right? And then I realized something. I fucking hated it. I didn't like anything about cars. I sold cars and still couldn't tell you shit about cars. Like there was nothing about it that was appeasing. I hated it. We were working our asses off. We literally made no money because remember, we're just fulfilling the Groupons. Right. So me and my cousin were genuinely eating off of our tips. People give us tips when they did it. We used that money to go to fast food because it was 99 cents. And we get the value menu and we'd be split. We knew exactly what we ordered. Like, oh, $4.38, this will get us this. That's where it was. Wow. So my cousin eventually is just like, this is stupid. He was a little bit older. He's like, I'm out. My boy Ryan, he gets a job at his dad's company. He's like, it's an opportunity I can't pass up. I'm doing it. So now it's just me. Changing oil, doing what I'm doing. You know, my girl, I'm basically like living off of her. She's probably like, who's this scrub ass nigga? Like, we're together forever. But shout out to her. She was supportive and all those things. And I was just like lost, unhappy, doing something I hate. So I did what anyone does, you know, when they really need something, is I got a job.
Before you got that job, what was that feeling like, knowing that? Was it a feeling of failure? Was it a feeling of, I'm done?
It wasn't a feeling of I'm done. It was a feeling of failure. And failure is always so relative, right? Because remember, all my friends at USD, they were like buying their first house. You know, they got the cush job at the CPA Deloitte and all those things. And, they're making money. So that was hard because I was definitely the outlier of like, oh yeah, Billy's doing that oil change thing. You know what I mean? Like you kind of get that look like, that thing. That was pretty difficult. And my family was pissed because I actually didn't finish my last class at USD. I graduated everything. I had to finish one class in the summer. I didn't do it. So imagine this. I'm the first one in my family about to graduate and like hold it down for the family. Grandma's massive advocates of education. And then I don't do it. I don't finish my last class. And they're devastated. So when I was doing this oil change company, my parents weren't talking to me. We didn't speak for a year and a half because remember, they invested $250,000 into my education. And what the fuck did I do with it? And it's not like they had $250,000 to invest, right? They acquired extreme debt and sacrifice. So it's not like I took it lightly, but I was just like, look, I know that path, what it leads to. Like you guys gave me education, exposed me to some things. I know that that's not the ticket. I know you believe it is because your generation grew up on that, but it's not. So they didn't talk to me. So it was low when I didn't make the oil change thing work because that was my ticket and I just caught an L. Simple as that. I had no money and I didn't have the bailout because my parents, your parents may help you out if you have any, if someone's lucky enough to have any. I had that cut from me. Right. So Ryan's mother, my partner, she let me stay at their house. When Ryan went back to the job, she's like, look, you can stay here while you get your stuff together, et cetera, and figure out the next chapter. Let me park the big ass van there in her nice house. We got oil cans and shit there. She was hella cool about it. And even still today, like put it this way, actually full circle, I annually donate to her charity, which helps domestic violence and abused women. But this year we just put in $10,000 this year to donate to her. And to me, she's like super excited. I'm like, Are you kidding me? You let me stay at your house when I had fucking oil in your shit and like nothing. Like this is easy for me. Like done, and it's a great cause.
That's awesome.
Anyways, that feeling was fucking shitty, right? You just start to question your own validity of like, are people right? And like, you know, you also, at least for me, a lot of people when they start a business, they're so arrogant and ignorant. I was that. And I didn't even think that like you could ask for someone for help because I thought like I was the only one who could figure it out. You know what I mean? Like I just thought like, I didn't think there was a magic trick. I didn't think there was anything to learn. I just thought it was like, this is easy business. You just got to do it. So anyways, I get a job at 24 Hour Fitness and I'm checking in people. So now my schedule just got busier because I'm fulfilling Groupons during the day. And then at nighttime, I had the nighttime shift. I'm closing down the gym at 24 Hour Fitness and I'm parking my mobile oil change company outside in the parking lot. So like some of the people are like, yo, like, I thought you had an oil change company. And I'm like, boop, enjoy your workout. that was some humble pie shit. You know what I mean? Like that was some real humble pie shit. Like I had to really like, you know, it also drove me though, you know, cause I was like, nah, this, my chapter ain't ending like this. Right. So now I'm doing an oil change company. I'm checking in people at 24 Hour Fitness. And then I say, fuck the oil change company. Eventually I was like, I hate this. I don't even love it. I'm done. And now if this is the hardest thing for us to do is to be objective about who we are. Cause in our heads, we know where we want to be, where we're going to be, et cetera. But if I have to look at the paper, if I have to look at the fucking math, the stats, well, the stats for me were zero money, bunch of debt, checking in people at 24. That was my truth.
Wow.
I had to have a real fucking moment with myself. It wasn't, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm checking in people at 24-hour fucking fitness. And it got worse because I'm living in my car at the time at Ryan's mom's house. Now my time was kind of up a little bit. I've been there for a while. So my cousin Cap lets me stay over at his house. I'm driving back and forth between the two houses and shit. And I'm just like staying there. And then I'm at my boy's house. And all of a sudden we're chilling and like, I'm like drinking and partying, just trying to like, you know, be distracted. Mm-hmm. And then I hear this noise, beep, 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 beep. And we're upstairs. I'm like, what is that? Beep, beep. And we look out the window and I see my Honda Accord, my 2004 Honda Accord attached to a tow truck.
Oh man. Wow.
And I run outside and I'm like, what are you doing? And they're like, your wheels were turned the wrong way. And then here's the kicker. I was like, all right, well, can you take them off? Like, what do we got to do? Et cetera. And then they go, well, we ran your plates and you have about 13 unpaid parking tickets from when I was at USD living at the beach.
Oh, come on, man. I feel like that's a requirement to be in college is to have a stack of unpaid parking tickets that you have to have.
Because they don't go anywhere, right? Like they just get sent to whatever address. It was sent to my parents' house. I'm like, oh, fuck you guys. I'm not paying. Now they're towing me, right? And I got these. And then they go, also, your registration isn't fucking done either. Like, yeah, we're definitely taking your car. Like,
you are not getting this back.
Yeah. And they're like, but this is the thing is they towed my house because all my shit was in there. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you can't just take this. And so anyways, now I'm like out $2,300 is what it takes to get out. And then this was the thing that really made me mad. This is when I start to get mad at the world type of energy. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna be able to get this out for a while. I need to make this money. They're like, that's okay, but every day that you leave it in here, there's fees. And I'm like, I can't afford it now. What the fuck makes you think I'm gonna be able to afford with some stack fees, right? So I called the homies and then I did the really humble pie moment. I took out my phone. I called my dad.
Man.
Daddy, you know, daddy.
Of course, it's daddy at this point.
Daddy. You know, my car got towed. I got nothing. I just, is there any way I can borrow some cash or something? He said, gotta go, son, make it happen.
Damn.
That was it.
That's it.
That was it. That was it. Like, not even like, oh, cool, busy right now. Yeah, gotta go. Okay, make it happen. Still something I said today. So I had to. I called a bunch of friends. Most said no. Shout out to my homegirl, Crystal. She said yes. And she let me borrow the money. And I said, I'll pay you back. She said, how? I have no clue. Not the slightest. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know when you get this money back. You may never see it again. But I need some money. So she does. I get out of the situation. I got Brandon let me borrow some money too. Shout out to him. And there I am at square one. But now it was different because it's one thing to make your own bed and lie in it. But now I'm taking other people with me that care about me. That wasn't cool. So now I apply for a real job. Ashford University, which was a call center. You got started University of Phoenix. It's like school. So I apply, literally get a call 2 days later. I get hired, I think 4 days later, something like that. I start like a week and a half. And I'll be real with everybody here. This is an important note for everyone. I honestly loved every second of it for a second. It alleviated the pressure of having to do everything myself. I had $37,500, I believe is what I was making. And it was a consistent fucking paycheck. I mean, I showed up, I got my check, and I had so much peace of mind, and it was just fucking refreshing. It was so refreshing. And I think I hear so many people, like other entrepreneurs, who will knock people who work a job. And I'm like, no, are you fucking kidding me? First of all, you need people to build a team. But secondly, there's so much that I admire and enjoyed about being on a team. Like, it's fucking crazy. And so I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the shit out of it until I found out the CEO of the company made 25 million bucks in a year.
Woo. Yep.
Then I quit the next day. So
this ain't fun anymore.
So is that where your thought went back to? I need to get back on my entrepreneur kick all over again.
Well, so going back to that environment thing that I was talking about is I realized I started to become the corporate company. I came in with this identity that I was this entrepreneur, that I'm here temporarily just trying to figure my shit out.
Right.
And then I realized, damn, I'm using my whole paycheck at the bar and the club and watching other ball players come and stunt, like, you know what I mean? Pull up in the cars and everything else. And now I'm like, man, I'm that dude. I'm the dude who works at a call center. Like, again, I had to tell myself the truth again. And then I caught myself in conversations of mediocrity. Like, people just talking, like, I remember the director of our company, one of the directors, the salary was like 120 grand. And I just was like, holy shit. You can make that much money. This is crazy. Maybe I'll just be a director and life is cool, etc. And everything that I ever told myself that I wanted to do, I started to just rationalize. And I was just like, you know, I don't really need to do the whole business thing. I don't really need to do this. I just started fucking settling. And when that announcement came out of what he made, it triggered, and I was just like, what? This online world, selling online PDFs? And I knew I had to get into that world. So this is finally where the Billy Genius people know me today starts to emerge, is after I leave Ashford. So
I'll say this though, is I know entrepreneurs are like, no, you know, you create businesses out of the struggle, and you have to really like be hurting to have the motion. But there's something to be said about creatively being in a creative space that you can actually create something, and that can't be filled with anxiety and stress and debt and all these things that really, really cripple you from actually thinking creatively and thinking outside the box and what I can actually do. And it sounds like for you was like, okay, this call center job, it gave you a chance to breathe. It gave you a chance to, okay, I can now just assess where I'm at. Now what direction do I want to go? And then once you're in that clear headspace, then it's like, man, all right, I see it. I'm going for it. So take us to when you're going for it.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think you need both, right? Like I did, looking back, I absolutely did need to kind of reset, right? Like I used a lot of energy emotionally and physically with the oil change thing and doing all of that. Like I needed that. Damn it. You know what I mean? To know. And then also I needed that kick in the butt of like, hey, I need some pressure because I'm getting too comfortable here. Yeah. So I quit. And then I called up my homie, rest in peace. And I said, hey man, we need to get into this online space. I said, dude, no. I'm telling you, this guy made 25 million bucks a year. I know the whole operation. I've been working here for 6 months. Okay? You know what I mean? And here I am, like the lowest level on the totem pole. Like I know how everything works. And again, the arrogance showing up again. Right now, dog, it's easy. And looking from one little baby lens, right? So, anyways, I hit up a web designer, my guy who helped me with the oil change website, and I said, hey, can you make me an online classroom? And he said, yeah, but like, what the fuck are you going to teach? And I said, oh yeah, let me figure that out. I'll call you back. So now I had nothing to teach. I didn't teach nothing, right? Like no education. I said, okay, well, what if I can license other people's like programs and stuff and put it in this online classroom format? What if I can just find experts and I make their stuff and I kind of produce and do the whole thing? So my buddy's dad had this company called Self-Help Works. and they had online programs to help people quit drinking, quit smoking, and lose weight, all mental dealing with this. And so I said, hey, this is hella random, but you think your dad would let me use his programs and sell them in like a higher ticket fashion in an online classroom format? And he's like, I don't know. You want to pitch him? I said, yeah, fuck it. And he was super cool. And he was like, I'm down. He was really excited about it. So that was my first venture after the oil change company. It's called Rethink and Relive. Online courses to help you progress in your life. And not because I was some mindset guy in it. I wasn't in any of that shit. That introduced me into the world. It was just the opportunity I had to sell something online. And I knew the online thing was big. So I got into mindset on accident. And luckily that was the thing I did. So here I was, and to build a website. Oh God, fuck. I mean, I don't want to go on too long, but I'll tell you guys real quick. I made a really fucking, like all that arrogance I'm talking about really fucking cost me money financially. So the website to make the online platform, I find this other company because it was more advanced, and I find this random company in LA, and they had a really sick shit. I told them what I wanted to do, and they said, awesome. For us to do that, it's going to be $30,000. Now, mind you, I had about 300. So I hit up my boy Aaron and some other friends like, yo, anybody have any cash? And he had money from his mom selling her house, something like that. And he's like, dog, I've been watching you on your journey, do your oil change stuff, et cetera. You just stay with it. You're consistent. He's like, I was the guy who everybody kind of like the homies like bet on that knew I was about more. But like, so he's like, I got you. What do we need? Boom. He gives me the 30 grand. I give the 30 grand to the website company. Fast forward a year later, I find out the 30 grand that I gave them was for a free platform. It didn't even cost any money. It was 100% free. They charged me literally just to upload my shit and some of the busy work, which should have been like $5 grand. I overpaid by $25,000 and blew every fucking dollar I got. And I was back at square one again, but this time with the platform. Now, imagine if I hired a consultant to teach me about this online stuff before. How fast could they have said, are you kidding me? You can do this for free. Just do this. Right. And the consultant could have charged me 10 grand to tell me that, and it would have been worth it.
Yeah. To save myself 15.
Yeah. So here I am again. And now I owe a lot of money this time, and my guy's betting on me, and I'm like, the projections, I'm going to pay you back in a year, and this is how it's going to go. We were nowhere fucking near that. We were in a whole different stratosphere. And the problem is when we started selling this online quit smoking program, we ran into the same fucking issue, which was, how do you get a damn customer?
Right.
Still didn't know, but I tried to hire a call center because that's where I came from. Went shitty. I tried every little grassroots thing that y'all can think of. And then finally I tried this thing called Facebook fucking ads. And let me tell you, changed my life. I spent $80 on a test. We sold one trial program for $5. They emailed the next day and said, please cancel. I'm not interested. And the difference is I made that money while I was sleeping. I had an ad that was running to this online quit smoking program, and I was dead asleep. I woke up to an email that said, you got cash. And I flipped out. Because remember, I'm selling cars. I had to trade time for dollars. Yeah. I'm doing oil change. I'm trading time for dollars. I'm at Ashford. I'm fucking calling for dollars. Every aspect of what I knew of money was that. This time I made $5. Well, actually, we lost money from the $80 ad spend that we spent. But it happened. And I got obsessed like something you guys have never seen. I was clicking buttons, reading every article, books, etc. I borrowed more money from a different friend, and he gave me like 15 G's. And he's like, how you going to pay me back? I'm like, look at this Facebook stuff. Look what it can do. And I'm showing this. And he's like, bro, that's your shit. I don't really care about it. Just here's the cash. I trust you. Let's go. Okay. So here we are again. The first thing I do with the money he gives me is I bought an online course for $2,000. He calls me up. Pissed. Nigga, I gave you $2 or $50. You spend $2,000 on some fucking shit you can find online. Da-da-da-da-da. We're arguing ourselves, and I'm like, questioning myself. Best investment I ever made. Learned the Facebook stuff, got fucking great at it, bought more stuff with the money, ebooks, etc. This time, instead of investing into fucking oil change equipment, I fucking did the guaranteed investment.
Bet on self. Yeah, man.
It was over. Once I did that, I was a gangster with this Facebook shit. And I started to learn it, to love it, to become an expert at it. And also, it wasn't that hot at the time. A lot of part with making money too is trends. I happened to be on a trend that was about to get hot, wasn't hot. Everybody said it didn't work. They didn't even know you could advertise on Facebook. But I was in there and then I was doing the damn thing. I learned it, I mastered it, and then I started doing it for other people. I started doing it for other people, and we were starting to get some results. And then I started picking up like, little referral businesses, et cetera. And all of a sudden, I started fucking making money. Not a lot by any means necessary, right? Sometimes I was building websites, et cetera, but I had to learn everything. HTML, coding, because I didn't know. And I was obsessed. I'm talking didn't sleep. And now I'm back at my parents' house. So I can breathe a little bit, right? I had that moment of like, they forgave me, et cetera. But they didn't believe in me. They just thought I was upstairs playing video games on the computer the whole time. And in fairness, I was like 30% of the time. So
they weren't completely wrong, but
they weren't completely wrong, right? So that's when I started fucking really loving and like getting into Facebook.
All right. So that's one thing for me, man, the obsessed part of it, right? Like it's hard to be great at something if you're not obsessed about it. And you don't.
Oh, I agree.
And so, I mean, I know for you, it's the same thing. That's what we talk about. You have to be selfish, you have to be an asshole, and you have to be obsessed. And I say that like not being an asshole to people, but like with your time. Like you can't put up with other people stealing your time and stealing your passion, right? You've got to be obsessed and you got to be selfish with that stuff.
Yeah, Dan Kennedy would call it like time vampires. And I think what you just said was extremely critical. Like the selfish piece, you really are going all in on yourself. Like I'll be real, and I don't want to take the topic other places. Maybe you guys can relate to this, but it's hard to be in a relationship in that time. I mean, like I felt like, me and my ex at the time, we broke up, and I'll be real. I don't know if I could have given her anything because I was still trying to build my foundation, and honestly, it wasn't a priority to me.
Right. And you were in love. Like you fell in love with the passion that you went through the oil change deal. You went through all these ups and downs, and now you're asleep and you're making money. And then all of a sudden that light bulb comes up. And that's the one thing I wanted to ask you. Have you always, because, in watching you just through social media, there is an extremist like mentality to it. Has your life always been that way where you're moving forward like a shark, or what is it about you, man? Where does it come from?
That's a good one. First thing I want to comment on is what you both just said is 1,000,000%, anyone who has major progress with anything is obsessed. I have never met a single person in my life who is great at something or has accomplished great success that wasn't obsessed. I've never seen it. Right. You guys ever seen it? I ain't never seen that shit my whole life. For me, it was finding the thing I'm obsessed about. So with the Facebook ads, there was 2 moments that just took shit to another level, which I think is important for everybody. And one of those is once I got, signed on to this courses and books thing. One of the books that I picked up was from this guy named Mark Cuban. And it was like some an ebook or some shit he put out. And long story short, all I remember from this book is something that said, you found the thing that you love when you look up at the clock and it's 4 a.m. And I was like, well, that's not anything for me. And then I go, wait a second, video editing. When I'm doing these Facebook ads and I'm doing like a video, I get lost. Storytelling, like that right there. Thought about the Budweiser frogs again. I'm like, I could literally, matter of funny story, literally last night, we're filming till midnight last night. Like it just gets lost in it. It's the one thing that goes. And that's how I knew I found my thing to be obsessed with. So go back to me being at my parents' house and I'm doing these Facebook ads and I'm making a little bit of cash so like I can fund myself, but I'm still broke as shit, right? I'm paying people back. I don't have any money and my mom's still cooking and shit. But I had a moment that changed my life to the trajectory we're on now that will make sense. So I had this company that I was doing Facebook ads for. It was called Xterra Wetsuits. And I was doing Facebook ads for them. And we had this crazy case study where we spent like $6,000 in ad spend of their money, right? And we made $150,000 in sales. It was crazy. And so I was like, how can I get more clients doing this? And I was like, oh, hello, advertise the same way I'm doing for them. So I go on Amazon, I get a microphone like this. I get a green screen, a little tripod for my phone. I set it up. And I turn on the camera and I go, hey, Facebook ads don't work. It's all a complete scam. It's BS. They're just trying to rob us, et cetera. Like, who even sees these things? Is it even real, et cetera? Click here. I'm going to expose Facebook. That was my first ad. Now, mind you, everyone listening, you cannot say that today. Ban your account in a second. Like, it's a no-go, right? So I put up this ad, and eventually they disapproved it, but it got away for it then.
But it was on Facebook. It was a Facebook ad.
It was on Facebook then. Yes,
yeah.
I did it. This is real. I ran this. And then they came to the next page, and it says, hey, if you think there's something wrong with Facebook, no, there's something wrong with you. I put together a short case study to show you how I spent $6,000 on Facebook and turned it into $150,000. Click here if you want to watch it. I stayed up all night. I made a video, lost myself in the sleep, and I just literally screen captured everything I did. I held nothing back. And I was like, this is what I did for them. This is what they clicked, et cetera. And at the end of this little 7-minute video, I said this: do you want me to do this for you too? If you click the button below, schedule time on my calendar and let's talk. And mind you, I built the whole thing, knowing software, like I learned all that shit. So I did every aspect of this that you can think of. And then this is where everything changed. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna spend $25 on this thing, because that was a lot of money, 25, right? And I wake up in the morning and I scroll and I refresh the account. Yo, I spent $625 because it's attached to a credit card, which I don't even think it had that much of a limit, whatever. But I spent $625. And I shit you not, I'm bawling, I'm crying, because I'm so devastated that I just went into more debt and I lost again. And I didn't mean to, it wasn't on purpose. And then I look on my phone and I had 25 appointment requests from the $600. So my brain switched and said, okay, collect your shit, Billy, get it together. If I can just close one of these 25 people for $600, I won't lose any money. I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot. So I get on the phone and now I'm like, I gotta do this. I have no choice. My back's against the wall. I sold $10,000 that day.
Oh, damn.
And it was over. It was over. And it was over. And I learned everything real quick, because people are like, can you do this for me? I'm like, yes. Then somebody else called and said, oh, so you're an agency? And I said, agent? Yeah. That's
sure.
Then they said, well, I want to learn it. Can you just do some like consulting? Let me Google it. Hold on. Consulting. Yeah, I can do that. And they said, hey, do you have any kind of like courses or something coming out in 2 weeks? Yep, fuck it, let's go.
We're in pre-launch right now. Just give it a minute.
My workload was fucking mind-blowing of how, I mean, it was building shit, consulting. I made a course. I did everything super fast, because at this point I've been perfecting it for like a couple of years. Like I'm learning this shit, right?
Yeah.
And so anyways, that 10 grand happened, and that was a switch. And even today, it's still my business model. Put out a video, ask people to buy, make more than you spend. That is my whole entire thing. Anytime I come in a company, I did the same fucking thing. Put out an advertisement, make more than you spend. And that's it. And the best part that gave me the confidence to hire, to grow and scale is this advertising thing. Whenever I spend fucking $25 to $50, I got someone qualified on the phone who wanted to chat about doing business. It didn't feel risky to do marketing. A lot of people don't want to do marketing. They say it's expensive. It's like, how is this expensive? I spent $600 and made 10 grand. Where the fuck was the expense in this?
Yeah, I'd like to find a return like that for sure.
Right. You know what I mean? The only time it's expensive is when it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right. When it doesn't work. And that's the beautiful part, is you can turn it off at any time. Like everybody listening right now, it's like, if you want to spend $100 on Facebook and you don't start to see some traction, just shut it down. Try something different. To me, it's like, I still lose sleep about how exciting it is, the fact that I can test something. If it doesn't work, I can turn it off. If I go to the casino right now and I put $10,000 on one hand, if I lose, I can't take my money back.
That's right. That's right.
That shit's gone. Facebook, you can say I want to spend 10 grand, spend a couple hundred, but this doesn't look too good, and get out. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That was the obsession. And then that turned into one client, that turned into Orange Theory Fitness and doing 300 of their locations. That turned into the Co-op San Diego for Massage Genvi, European Wax Center, Title Boxing, bunch of franchises, small business loans. You know.
So when did you go through the structure now? Now now you got all these clients.
Yeah.
Now, and you just been just wheeling and dealing. When did you start thinking, I need to build this team? I need to get this structured. I need to become a real business.
Out of necessity. Pure necessity of, oh shit, I can't do this by myself. And this is actually a mistake I made, and where a lot of the challenges come is people wait for like PR or some kind of spike in business. And then you go, oh shit, I need some help. and you're not really vetting and hiring the way you should be. What I went on Facebook and I said, hey, you guys have seen me doing this Facebook thing for a while. Does anybody want to come work with me? And I just had a girl message me and she's like, I'm down. And that was it. And that's who I hired. And then she came over to my parents' house and like, she was just helping me. I was making this money at my parents' house still, and things starting to grow. And so I was horrible. And this is the thing. It's like, I am a personal big believer. And what I've learned throughout entrepreneurship specifically is there's no natural born anything. You know, I wasn't a natural born salesman. My dad was a salesman. I was around him all the time. So I learned sales. I wasn't a natural born marketer, but because my background in sales was strong, I was able to pick up writing really easily because English was my best subject. Like I learned those things. The difference is when it came to managing and leadership, I didn't realize those were skills that you actually had to learn. You know, like when I was an employee at Ashford, when I looked at the directors and the managers, it seemed like the director just walked around all day and just looked at people and said, good job. I belittled the skill set that it takes to delegate, to manage, to inspire, to lead. Those are learned skills. So I sucked ass at all of that in the beginning. You know, I hired wrong. I didn't know anything about payroll or HR. I would go to Bank of America, get a cashier's check and give everybody checks every 2 weeks. Every single, like for like 2 years. And I didn't do taxes right. I got in trouble with taxes because I didn't know anything, right? And I just realized, I kept saying to myself the whole time, I went to USD. Why didn't I know any of this stuff? Yeah. And I what pissed me off about it is, one, I'll take accountability because I was chasing girls, partying, being social chairman of a fraternity and playing Madden. But the other aspect of that is everything that we learned was based off the structure of Fortune 1000 companies. For a small business trying to make $100,000 a year, it is an entirely different fucking game. Made zero sense. So I was naked with all of those things. So the structure and the build, unfortunately, was trial and error. The benefit that I had as a leader, though, is that I did everybody's job. Yeah. Period. Right. Yeah. I was the video editor. I did the Facebook ads. I was the salesperson, every single thing. So when someone came in, I was able to train them and invest in the people.
That's a great point, because I think entrepreneurs, small businesses, startups, right? If you are someone that is just getting out of college, because like you said, our college system doesn't teach you how to actually be an entrepreneur, how to run business. It teaches you how to fall in line and then do the tasks that the Fortune 1000 companies tell you to do. But here's some advice. And for me, what you just said is gold. If you are looking for a mentorship, mentorship. No, dude. Internship. Sorry. I don't know why I blanked. Yeah. I didn't do college.
You look right at our intern.
I know. An internship, right? Look at those companies. Look at the startups. Look at the small businesses. Because here's the thing. If you go intern at a Boston Consulting Group or Deloitte or one of those large groups, guess what you're going to learn? You're going to want to learn one tiny silo of that company.
Yes.
You are not going to learn the HR. You're not going to learn the marketing. You're not going to learn any of the things that you really need to learn to do those things. So if you have an entrepreneurial spirit, go be an intern. Tell you what, don't take pay. Do it for a year, be around them, soak it up if you can. I mean, work at night, do whatever you got to do. But I mean, there's no better way, in my opinion. Are we still?
Yeah, we're all Billy. I think it's
we still got you.
But my video.
Okay. Okay, here we go. All right, sorry, brother. But that's one of the things. You can learn all facets of the business. And guess what? You get exposed to it. Maybe you think you like sales, but you're like, man, I actually really like operations. That's what I want to be in, right? What you're talking about there as an entrepreneur and having to learn all those things, people don't credit small business owners for how much knowledge they actually have, because they have to.
And also, there's a lot of percentage of small business owners that never take the time to learn those things, right? They stick in their lane and they start off and they go, I just want to hire for it, but they usually don't have the capital to do that.
Right.
And then they do mismanage and pick the wrong people. And again, I really believe in the lack of investment into oneself is the reason why 90% of small businesses fail. Yeah. That's a real stat that everybody knows, but yet nobody actually we're still dumbfounded when shit doesn't go well in a small business. Why isn't this working? Did you ever learn how to do it?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I got a question for you. And then I want to ask you a couple other questions about marketing today, how that's changed since you first got into Facebook. But you talk about obsession. But also a lot in your marketing, you talk about money and how that is a vehicle to do the things you love. For you, were you at the beginning obsessed with making money, or were you obsessed with the actual task that you were doing in the Facebook ads and stuff like that?
That's a good question. I'm going to keep it 100. I was equally obsessed with both. Okay. And that I don't like saying that because you can't really do that, but I take it. I was obsessed with the task of marketing. Make no mistake about it.
Yeah.
Know everything about. I'm still obsessed with it and doing it. You know, here we are a decade later, right? Like I'm still in all this shit. However, a lot of people talk about impact and things of that nature. Don't get it twisted. Now that's a big part of who I am and what I do. But let's be clear. Then I did not give a fuck. I was about my money. I was about partying. I was about friends. I was about the cool shit. Stunting. Like all those things really were my motivation. Like my biggest motivation when I was living at my parents' house was this. When we would go out, we would meet, a group of girls, whatever. And people will come up and the question comes up, oh, where do you live? And I can't, the pain in my soul.
That's when you say, my roommates and I, we live over in Southeast San Diego.
Exactly. Like, dude, I mean, still, even now, thinking this in the past, right? It's still like, oh shit. That was my biggest motivation.
Yeah.
My vision was to stop living with my parents. I can stop saying that. So I can tell people in the beginning, it's like, find what your real thing is. People are like, what's your why? My why was to stop living with my motherfucking parents. That was my why, So yeah, in the beginning, that shit was money, And I found I was obsessed with the thing that happened to make money. So now I was trying to ball out.
Now the money's just a byproduct.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
so
awesome.
so let's fast forward, man, because there's so many nuggets that you have as far as marketing is concerned. Now, so now I got the quick question. I know Ben had this to ask you earlier. What makes an effective marketing strategy?
The simple answer is, I would say, is it making money? Right? Like if you're talking about a business in particular, the job of a business is to generate profits for its shareholders, period. And so, a lot of people ask like, hey, is this good marketing or not? First question I ask, is it making money? And they're like, well, making money, then it sounds good to me, right? Like as long as it's protecting your brand and getting the message out that you want, right? And it's doing good into the world. I do believe in that. Then the flip side of that is if it's losing money, then I don't care how sexy it looks or whatever, like that shit's it's not good marketing. And so I think what makes the biggest effective marketing strategy usually, actually, I'll give something tactical here. And I think this is a big time we're share. So someone like me, a lot of people think I split test a lot of things, meaning, on this website, let me change the color to red versus blue, or let me change this word to this word. The only thing that I've really seen make massive shifts in business, like when someone like, I want to double, triple, or when a business explodes, is one word, and it is offer. What is the offer? For example, the Dollar Shave Club, their offer was ridiculous. $1 for a shave. Google, what is their business model? Pay nothing, find out anything you want to know in the entire world. Amazon, press a button and I will send you whatever the fuck you want. Uber, press a button and I'll be there in 5. The offer is so sick. So anytime I've seen a company, like I did some consulting for a franchise, I won't say the name, but it was a boxing franchise. And you know what their best offer was to get people in the door? It wasn't to come work out for free in a world where everybody says come work out for free. It was come work out for free and we'll give you a free pair of boxing gloves. Offer.
Right.
That change was explosion. I'm not talking small changes, explosion. When that started to go stale, you know what they did? Because their audience was mostly women. They changed the gloves and they made them pink. Come in, we'll give you pink gloves. Offer exploded. Like If a business is stalling, if it's not going well, you got to change the offer. And this is what really fucked me up when I was working with a lot of franchises, is I always get into like a clash, and where I stopped doing it, I get in a clash with corporate, because corporate's, their job is they're trying to keep everything uniform across multiple franchise locations. And we want one unified offer. We don't want a bunch of people shooting from the hip. And I understand the value of all those things. And I don't at the same time, because they're at a level that I'm not at. At the same time, though, what I do know is what moves the needles in those small businesses, which I know exceptionally well, is offer. So I'm like, yo, y'all been running the same fucking 1 week offer for now. We've been doing this for 3 years. And I personally been running. I know how they work. It's called message fatigue, offer fatigue. People are tired of that shit. Oh, well, we can't change that. We did it. I don't know how you win. I can't help you then, because I don't know how you win. Fucking offer. Everything. You take any business, first thing I come in, I'm going to change the offer, break it. So a lot of small businesses have to be willing to have, like, you know who does it the best is the 2 biggest franchises in the world, Subway and McDonald's. So McDonald's has sold the same thing forever, a burger and fries. However, every now and then they'll hit you in the month of March with a McShamrock flurry or whatever the fuck, right?
The McRib is back.
Yeah, the McRib is back, or Monopoly. Remember? Yeah. So again, those are offers. They know that drives the needle. But when you get there, what do they sell you?
Two Big Macs.
Fries.
Yep. Burger and fries. Yep.
It's the game. Subway comes in $5 foot long, like $1.99. Are you out of your mind? The offer is fucking everything. Everything. And here's the deal for everyone. The offer has to be for your customers. It can't be for your business. Because as business owners, we're like, yeah, you know, I'll do 10%. And we're thinking about our money, etc. My thing is, think of the impossible and then figure out a way to monetize it on the back end.
Yeah. Get them in the door.
You know, Tony Robbins always gives this great example. And he says, he talks about how, remember Garmin, the navigation company? Yeah. So Garmin, you stick it on your car and go there. He says, what happens when your competition gives away your main thing for free? So Garmin has these things they're selling for $200, et cetera. Google comes out and says, here's Google Maps. You can do it for free. You don't need that shit anymore. And you can use it on your phone. Yeah. How can you compete? Now, Google inquires this massive expense for creating that, but on the back end, they sell to advertisers and they make more money. They went a layer deeper with how they monetize, and they were able to crush it. Movie theaters, the best in the business at it. They say, come watch this movie. A lot of them, they don't even make that much money off of. And then they come and say, well, you can also get these milk duds for $20. $20 milk dud. You can get this soda premium size for $29.95. Right. What? You know, so again, it's the front end offer. And the cool thing about the movie theaters, what makes their business model easy, is they change their offer the most every Wednesday and Friday. And it's the movie. You know, every movie is different. They give you a new offer to come in. Right. That's the beauty of it. And they have all these other creators making their offers. It's a beautiful thing. And then they get to sell the same thing every time. $20 milk duds. You know what I mean? Like, this is great.
And I mean, that's genius though. But that's what you're talking about with the oil change business. If you don't get people in the door, you can't upsell them for, hey, we'll change your filter too, or we'll change this, or we'll wash your car too. We'll do this. If you can't get the offer, and that's maybe what you missed, right? Is you had the Groupon for the freaking free oil change that you guys were doing, but guess what? We got you now. Would you also like us to wash your car while you're in the office?
And that's the difference between a product and a business. A lot of the time. A lot of people will come in with the product, and it's really hard to monetize, because when you take into consideration the cost of advertising, which nobody does, or the cost of marketing, nobody does, you realize the margins aren't there, and you have to sell something on the back end to make a profit. That's the game.
Man.
So do you still think that like traditional marketing plans still work? Like the old traditional marketing plans, well, you know, the
TV
commercials and all that.
Radio ads, podcast sponsorships.
I think they still haven't realized that I think they still haven't realized that they're overpriced. There is a place for them. However, there's still something to it. So for example, outside of my house right now, I have a billboard, right? And I spent $8,000 on it. But for me personally, I know that and it's for my podcast, mind you, right? For me personally, I know it's not going to drive fucking sales and revenue. So I really do look at that as a traditional marketing like expense, right? Like $8,000, et cetera. However, the challenge thing with that is they only let you keep it up for like 3 weeks. So it's like, God damn, this is just goes away. So what do? We shot 3 different advertisements with my billboard in it. And guess how long I'm going to use those videos? Forever.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I just took this $8,000 investment and I made it last a lifetime. Now, what's cool about the billboard is the positioning. When you see billboards, because of how they're priced, you automatically associate them with the biggest companies, insurance companies, gas stations, like things that are really lucrative and big ass brands. So you see like, Arco, Chevy, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Billie Jean is marketing, you know what I mean? So it's a positioning strategy for me.
And that's the branding, right? Like your face is the brand, and that needs to be recognizable.
100%. And to me, even my name, Billie Jean is marketing. The reason why I did Billie Jean is marketing because of fucking Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry, Tyler Perry from the outside looking in, again, internally, there's probably other strings that were being pulled. To me, the greatest move that I have ever seen someone do in plain hidden sight was how Tyler Perry got his name popping. This man, Tyler Perry, made movies, but I don't know if you remember this, in the beginning when he first started really popping, everything said Tyler Perry presents.
Absolutely. Yes.
Everything. And here's the deal. The studios were paying for that shit. The studios are like, what's your marketing budget going to be? $10 million. Every time he made a movie, they'd give him $10 million to hype up his own name. Yeah. People can only name like 6 directors in the world. He's one of them because he got the studios to pay for it. I was like, that's fucking brilliant. So I'm like, okay, what's my company? Billie Jean is marketing. Every single time anyone says my name, they're going to tell the world that they're marketing. I go on stage somewhere, Billie Jean is marketing. I go on a podcast, Billie Jean is marketing. Now you just have this clip of all these badass saying Billie Jean is marketing. And I just say, I agree.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's awesome, man. Hey, well, we want to be respectful of your time, but man, your journey has been incredible. I mean, that's what they see you on YouTube. They see you on Facebook. They listen to your podcast. By the way, give a shout out. Is it I was about to say Tyler Perry. Right. Billie Jean is marketing podcast, right? Is that the name of your podcast?
Yeah, Billie Jean is marketing offends the internet. Billie Jean is marketing offends. It's just like 5 minutes. Honestly, it's like the South Park of mindset coaching. It was 5-minute episodes every day.
Love it.
So it's really offensive. Don't listen to it if you're offended by cursing, inappropriate language, racist shit. Don't listen.
You know what, Billy? While we have you on the phone, on the podcast here, I have to ask this question. Now, what is the future of marketing? If you're looking at it and you could foresee the future, what does marketing look like?
I have a fundamental mental belief that marketing is entertainment. The way so I'll start with the attention. What are people doing? They're watching shows on Netflix, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. That's where it is. And I do see those being staples because, for example, Facebook, people are like, I hate Facebook now. It's like, dude, Facebook has the biggest hostage of them all, our memories.
Yeah.
Our memories on hostage. We ain't going nowhere. They're going to be right there fine. And they have 2 billion words. That's how we connect in the world, right? Instagram, same thing, YouTube. So now these are the most important things. Now, the way that all of their algorithms unanimously work is they just show shit that gets the most attention. Stuff is always the most entertaining stuff. Therefore, as a result of all of that, the brands and things that are going to win are the ones that are most entertaining, period. I mean, and I'm not talking about optional, like required, like think about the biggest brands in the world. I mean, look at the Kardashians. That was a TV show.
Yeah.
Look at The Rock. He is an entertainer. He's been wrestling forever. WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment. Like, you know what I mean? It's all entertainment. Anyone who entertains. And the thing is about education, because there's a lot of education things that go on, which I'm a big proponent on, but it's the whole, like, you gotta hide the vegetables. I got a 5-year-old daughter. It's like, you gotta mix some vegetables in to get her excited about it with some other shit. And I just think any company that is not going to entertain is going to lose. Even look at the biggest shows. Look at the biggest real estate investors in the game. They're the ones with the TV show, right? Look who was the biggest personal trainer forever, Jillian Michaels, because she had the TV show. Like, who's the biggest chef in the world?
Guy Fieri.
Okay, Gordon Ramsay. Damn it.
I'm kidding, man. Guy Fieri just eats food.
Well, look, Guy TV show.
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay TV show.
Yeah.
Now, again, I'm not saying are these people actually the best? Who cares? They're the most well known.
Yeah.
The future of marketing is being the most well known and having an audience. It's why I spend so much in ads every day. I'm just building audience and brand, audience and brand, audience and brand. Then I can deploy it. I'll give you an example. In December or November of last year, I launched the software to my audience. Didn't even do any advertising for it. I just said, hey, here's what I'm up to. Do you guys want it? We did $83,000 in recurring revenue immediately. $1 million business, just like that. And that was on 2 webinars. I mean, but that's brand, right? That's like trust over the years, et cetera. And look what The Rock is doing with his tequila.
Yeah.
Number 1 selling alcohol brand in the world right now.
It's brand. It's just brand. It's entertainment and audience, right? Like you have to have the attention. Attention's look, who just got the fight with Floyd Mayweather? It wasn't another great boxer. No. Fucking Logan Paul. It was Logan Paul. Like it's like, look, we don't have to agree with it, but the fucking attention wins.
Yeah.
It's following the money. It's following the money. So everybody's got to do a better job of getting that attention. So I think all marketing is the entertainment factor in building up these loyal tribes. You know what I'm saying? And to do that, you got to stand for someone.
What do you say about the idea of, yes, you got to be entertaining. What if you're not naturally an entertaining person and you don't have that? But I mean, there's so many people out there that put on a facade. I know Snoop talked about it, right, for a long time. And that's why he started doing the videos about coaching football. And he's like, look, I got to be authentic because I can't keep this persona, I can't keep this character alive for a long time. So what's your opinion of like authenticity versus entertainment? Or do you have to be authentic to be entertaining? Or can you have that persona?
I think you have to be authentic nowadays because it's too transparent.
Yeah.
Like no one can hide. You know what I'm saying? So I think whatever your authentic self is needs to be entertaining. You know what I mean? Like, and it just sells. Like people are so skeptical in the marketplace today in every industry. They say any bullshit, it's going to destroy. I mean, honestly, like fucking love or hate the guy, like fucking Trump. This motherfucker was himself. Now himself is ugly as a motherfucker sometimes, but he was himself. But watch this. And people are always worried about like niching out and scaring people away. I mean, he scared so many people away and still won the presidency.
Right.
Like think about that. Any small business owner who's worried about like, oh no, if I focus down on a niche, then I'll scare people away. It's like literally he scared away half the country, still became the president. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter. So it's just like, I don't know. I feel like, and also in regards to like, what if you're not entertaining? You have to put yourself in an entertaining environment. Take the greatest show on TV. Well, I would say statistically, the longest running reality show on TV is Survivor. And they just got a resurgence now that they're on Netflix and Hulu. But they take a whole bunch of people, some entertaining, but some are boring as shit. However, if you put anyone on an island for 40 days and don't feed them and make them challenge each other and vote each other off the fucking island, it's going to be entertaining, right? Like it doesn't even matter. You can take the boring of the boring. That shit's going to be fascinating to watch. And so it's about not just you being entertaining, but just doing entertaining things. Man. You know what I mean? Like sometimes even like those YouTube channels where you see like how it works or how it's made. Like, I mean, put it this way, everybody here has been browsing TV and then seen some weird shit on Discovery Channel and you got lost for like 4 hours.
Absolutely. Just stop.
The history of marshmallows or like, what the shit is like, you don't even know because that's entertaining, right?
Yeah, that's right. All right. So what's next for you? How can people find you? Like, I want you to talk about the podcast again, but talk about the platforms that they can reach you, whether it's a consulting role, whether it's a coaching role, whether it's a speaking role, how can they get to you?
I think easiest way is just check out our podcast. Billie Jean is Marketing Offends the Internet, Monday to Friday. Again, it's wildly inappropriate, but if you want to be entertained and learn a little something along the way in regards to mindset and some funny storytelling, and maybe a little bit about marketing and business, then you should listen to it. And then, hit us up on IG. I literally just took like a 75-day hiatus from life pretty much to write my book and to just.
Oh man. When's the book coming out?
So I don't want to put a specific date on it yet, but I will tell you the title, and it's controversial in form, but fantastic. It's called Rich White People's Secrets, A Black Man's Guide to His First Million.
That's awesome, man. I love that.
It's going to piss some people
Yeah,
off. And it's going to be entertaining as shit. But more importantly, it's going to help a lot of people.
That's awesome.
And the premise is kind of, go ahead there.
Do you really give a damn if you piss people off? Honestly,
I think it depends on what. If I treated someone poorly, I would really give a damn.
Right.
Yeah. Like that. But if I just say something they don't like, nah, I don't really give a damn. But I say, the book is more so I just feel like I've been over the last 5 years had the opportunity to just sit in a lot of these rooms, and they are primarily dominated, by old white dudes, which doesn't make them bad people either, by the way. And I just feel like every time I'm in one of those rooms, I learn something and I just want to go tell everybody.
Yeah.
And that's what the book is. Well, you can do this with your credit. Oh, okay, here. Wait, you can do this with health. Oh shit, this here. You can do this with business. It's just all the shit that I hear that I'm like, God damn it. And then I translate it in a humorous way to make it digestible. Because people talk about financial literacy, but the challenge is the way that it's described, people will never comprehend.
Eyes gloss over. Yeah. I zone. I don't even know what you're saying. Yeah.
So it's like life secrets for dummies of how to be an adult.
I love it. Absolutely. All right. So we got a question. I think couldn't apply better.
Yes.
To a guest.
I can't wait to hear this one.
So this is
wait to hear this.
This is our closer. Is if you could go back to one point in your life and tell yourself something. Not change anything, but tell yourself something, is where do you go and what do you say?
Okay, hold on. Say it one more time.
Let
me really.
Okay, so if you could go back to one point in your life and tell yourself, your younger self, something, not change anything, but just tell yourself something, where do you go and what do you say to yourself?
I would probably meet myself back at the University of San Diego. When I was 20 years old. I think I graduated my last class at 21. And I would go to myself and I would say, hey, ask for help. Don't try and figure it out by yourself. And I can say that with 1,000% certainty. Every single time in my life where I've just tried to figure it out, I always end up losing more time and money. Now my whole thing is I just surround myself as much as possible with people who are way fucking smarter. And I would just say, Billy, no matter what, make sure you are always the dumbest guy in the room. It'll keep you humble. It'll keep you hungry, and just fucking be stupid. Yeah. And I really embodied that the last, few years, and it has paid, 100-fold. Even being on this podcast, right? You guys have knowledge that I do not have, experiences that I don't have. And that's why the conversation got relevant, because I want to learn too. You know what I mean? So I'm just a big believer in that. And I would tell my little shithead, arrogant self of, I got this, to just shut the fuck up, ask for help, and find a way to get it.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. So I just listened to you this morning. I was listening to one of your episodes and you were talking about teamwork and building a team. Yeah. And it was awesome. And it was in that first 3-4 minutes, it's got me a hook, because it's so true, man. It's about, you can bring so much value, but then when you bring a team and put a team together and you're not the smartest one, you have the humility of not being the smartest one. It's endless. It's endless, man. Yeah.
You just nailed it. You just nailed it. I'm a big believer in that. And, I'm gonna continue to follow that path.
Man, we appreciate you,
brother.
If you're ever out in Texas and Dallas, hit us up, man. We gotta connect. And when we're in San Diego, better believe we're gonna hit you up. So
I was gonna say, you guys come to San Diego, we'll show you a good time.
It's raining out there, dog. I don't want to.
Yeah, man. Come on, it's like 70 and sunny today.
Come over there.
All right, my man. Hey, we appreciate you, man, and we look forward to continuing to follow you. And we'll be looking for that book when it comes out.
Appreciate you guys.